My classmates didn't like my game pitch, so I made it myself. You choose a turtle size, a starting position, and touch to start. This is a design diagram I made for the game. So starting out, I set up starting positions where the player will spawn. So I added UI, and then I added more mountains. They have these feedbacks. So basically I wanted the starting position to kind of pulse. And I didn't want the Y to pulse, so I unchecked that. And then I wanted it to repeat. So this is what it looked like. Next, I have to set up what size turtle the player chooses. So for now, I just set up an enum. There's an entry fee for each race and a prize. So I whiteboarded how the UI will look and came up with this. Basically, an entry fee is like a negative number, and then the prize is a positive number. I thought it'd be boring if you can't spend the money, so I set up this hat shop so the player can purchase hats. And this is the code that controls it. I need to instantiate one of these 3 turtle sizes the player chooses and face them in a random direction. So I made an array of game objects, dragged the 3 sizes in, then worked on instantiating them. So I passed the player's chosen size into that turtle prefabs array, so that'll instantiate whatever size turtle they pick. Then I worked on making a random angle. So I needed a random number for the angle between 0 and 360, and then I had to pass that into a quaternion, and then pass the quaternion into the instantiation function. So I wanted a countdown timer that goes like 3, 2, 1, go. So I added a reference to that text, and then I need 2 variables for the time. One is like the real time, and then one is a nicely formatted one. So in update, we're gonna grab the real time and then do the floor of it to get a real integer, and then set that to the text. So this is how it works. Like the real time you see is 2.5, and then nicely formatted is 2. So last thing to do is if it's 0, we're gonna say go, and if it's -1, we'll just set it not active. I got tired of looking at this background, so I set up like green grass and some NPCs and kind of made the environment into like a cul-de-sac. Today I added a close-up camera and a main camera. So I imported Cinemachine and added their brain, and then added a Cinemachine camera. So one camera is the main camera, and the second one is the close-up camera. So I moved it into position, and then by just toggling the cameras, Cinemachine automatically transitions. My turtle wasn't reaching the finish line till his back legs hit it. To solve this, I used Unity's Pro Builder and made like a more 3D finish line, and now when the turtle touches it, right away the level ends. When the turtle finishes the race, I wanted the NPC to run towards the turtle and cheer him on. So I wrote some code to move the NPC towards the turtle, and this is how it should look. Wait, no, where are you going? So can you figure out what I did wrong? I had the success position as a child of the NPC. My NPCs run towards the player if they won, but they kind of just stand there and awkwardly wave. So I made some talk to each other before the race, and I lowered the speed on some. And also some just may not care who won, so I just set them to not move. Today I added fireworks, more NPCs, and picked an animation the turtle will do if the player wins the race. I wanted a level failure animation for the turtle, so I found one where he flops backwards. So I added a failure parameter, dragged in that flopping animation, removed the exit time, and then added the failure condition. So now I just grabbed a reference to that failure condition and did animator.setBool that failure animation to true. So here you can see it happen, but you kind of miss it. So I added an exit time of 1 second. So now when the animation will wait a second, then play. I wanted particle effects, but I put them on the wrong side, so I had to flop them, and then this is how it looks. I need a way to add or subtract the race winnings. So here's an example in level success. We have a time delay, an increment value, and then an array of the different race winnings per level. So we'll grab the one for this level, and while our current money is less than that, we'll keep incrementing it. When the turtle gets stomped, he hides in his shell. The animation I had, he only hides in his shell for like half a second, so I moved the animation events where he comes out of his shell out to a second. The box collider on my turtles were making me get kind of stuck, so I switched it to a capsule collider. And then I wanted to add a force on the big turtle going up so it kind of bounces and walks over the small one. but I didn't want it that bouncy, so I put a check. If your velocity is less than 0.1, then apply the force. Today I made a pond using a water shader I had, and then added a UV scroll script to it to make the water move. And I tested the big turtle going over stumps. In my turtle racing game, the turtles just run straight out to the finish line, but I wanted them to kind of like randomly turn. I couldn't figure out the pattern I liked, so I whiteboarded generally what I want it to look like and came up, okay, I need like max angle to rotate like 45 degrees randomly. So that's what I did. I invoked repeating. Every 0.75 seconds, change the angle negative 45 or 45, and then just pass that into the turtle's rigid body. My first playtest revealed there's too much luck or chance required to win, because the player can pick a starting position, but then they spawn facing a random direction.
That rotation is random, so it makes you question if you even have a chance of winning.
To fix this, I had the turtle spin at the start, and the player can stop it in a strategic direction. Playtesting reveals things you think are obvious.
Trying to learn what's the speed of the turtles. I think they're constant, right?
There are 3 turtle speeds based on their size, so I updated the UI to make this more understandable. The objective of my game is to race to the finish line. I thought this would be clear.
I wasn't familiar with the concept of the game of leaving a circle. In my head, I probably thought it was like a battle or something that you have to stay within the circle.
So to try to make the goal more clear, I made a finish line, added it to Unity, and then I used More Mountains Feel package because I wanted it to kind of rotate and have the alpha pulse. I added this touch to stop the spinning turtle, but it made levels too easy, so I made entire levels rotate. This game is on the app stores. You can search Turtle Trot.